everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well out there. We are still experiencing smoke from the fires in Canada. Hope everyone over there is doing okay. The pictures from New York are absolutely ridiculous. It's like yellow orange, like you can't see anything. They had to delay flights and all kinds of stuff. Pretty crazy. You know, I've said it before, global warming, it's no joke. And we're even experiencing weird weather here where it's not as hot as it normally would be, like years in the past. It's wild stuff, and I'm really hoping it warms up so I can enjoy some of my time off and, you know, go to the lake and do stuff with the kids. But right now it's like very, like, it's not freezing, it's not like cold, it's just not nice. It's dreary out, moist, dare I say that word. So yeah, I just finished chugging a diet drink that I bought. So I'm not trying to lose like a lot of weight. Due to my medication, I like my previous medication, which I'm currently back on right now because I have surgery coming up. Anyway, it gives you an insatiable appetite, basically, where I don't feel full. And for me, it's more of like, I guess you could call it a sensory thing where I will think about biting into a bagel, and then I have to have a bagel because I can't stop thinking about it. So that's the only way I can explain it. It's not like I'm dying of hunger, like physically feel hungry. It's more of I cannot stop thinking of things to eat. Horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So initially, I bought this keto milk meal shake. Okay. It's no bueno, not good. I think the other issue I'm having with it is you put in water, and to me, a milkshake is made with milk, but you're not supposed to have milk with it. So I tried it as water, and I thought, it's probably gonna taste like a Yoo-hoo, because Yoo-hoos are pretty much chocolate syrup and water, and it works. It's delicious. That not so much. I didn't use the blender with that one, so I think I'm gonna give it another shot, because I then got Bloom. Heard all kinds of good stuff about it. Everyone's like, it's delicious, it works, blah blah blah. And now, mind you, I only eat like one actual meal a day. Like, I'll probably have salad in a little while, but I only eat dinner. I'll have like peanut butter crackers maybe, or sometimes like a muffin in the morning. But I don't like overeat throughout the day. And I used to do like small increments of food throughout the day, but even that, like, I don't get hungry until later in the day. So it kind of stinks in that sense. So Bloom, heard a lot of good stuff about it, was told it's delicious. It is horrible. Uh the only way I can describe it is it tastes like, because I got the berry flavor, it tastes like an aftertaste of tea, like black tea. And if you're not a tea drinker like myself, like, I like tea, but I have to always put like a scoop of sugar and like a drop of milk in it, just to take away like that taste, which is this, it's this taste. And it's like, you know, has all kinds of greens and superfoods. So I'm going to keep taking it, only because I feel like it has a lot more healthier stuff than the meal shake, the chocolate meal shake, because I don't eat enough greens. I know that. So I chugged it with I blocked my nose and I chugged it, and I can still taste it. And it's so gross. So I made a cup of coffee to try and like, yes, this is a huge ass coffee. It's like bigger than my face. So yeah, so I'm trying, like I said, I don't overeat. I don't eat a lot of sugar and stuff like that. It's the medication that I'm on. it has like metabolic reactions, and so it can raise your cholesterol, it can do all these things, but I like the way it makes me feel, but I'm put on a different one that has something else in it that blocks those negative side effects, basically. But I can't be on it until 14 days after my surgery because of the anesthesia that they use. So I'm trying really hard to make sure I don't eat everything in sight. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to try my best to get through this damn can, whatever it is, tub. But yeah, first experience, as far as taste, would not recommend. It is brutal. Ugh. So anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. It is finally Thursday. I woke up this morning thinking it was Saturday, so very sad for me. Realized it wasn't, and I was like, son of a any hoozle. So I watched this video from this girl that I follow, and I follow her because she is very blunt and real and says things where she doesn't care like who agrees with it, who doesn't agree with it. And I love listening to her because how she articulates everything. And I agree with like everything she says. And I'm like, dude, this girl's like, she's like me. So she was talking about triggers and how, you know, so my spin on it is, in this day and age, everyone is super sensitive to everything. Everything can be a trigger. And a trigger is basically just something you don't want, that something that makes you uncomfortable. And I've said it before, you know, it's not someone else's problem that I have triggers. So like, it reminds me of when Demi Lovato went into an ice cream shop and they had cookies out, and she flipped out on Twitter, basically trying to ruin their business because they had cookies out and she has an eating disorder. And it was like, in what world does everything revolve around you where people can't sell cookies because you have an eating disorder? Now, eating disorders are no joke, and I'm not making a joke about it. I'm making a point. As far as triggers, it is your trigger, and it is up to you to know how to handle it when you are triggered. So one of mine, and it's a weird one, and it is what it is. I get very uncomfortable when I'm watching movies that have nudity. There is a reason for it. It stems from my teens. There was a situation, and I get incredibly uncomfortable when there's nudity on shows or movies that I'm watching. My ears burn, and it's gotten to the point sometimes where if it keeps going on the screen, like if it's a blip, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I'll just kind of look away, or I'll stare off like I'm looking at the TV, but I'm not looking at the TV. But when it is a longer moment, I have come to the point where I felt like I was going to faint. I was going to pass out because it was just so overwhelming for my body and my brain that it almost shut off. And it's, you know, it's reasons that I don't talk about. Like I haven't even like talked to my boyfriend about it. We've been together for 8.5 years. It's just something I don't talk about, the reason why I am like that. And I think at first it was frustrating for him because we're adults. We should be, you know, I should be able to sit through a movie, and if there's like nudity, I shouldn't have a complete meltdown. And like my ears burn so bad, my head feels like it's lifting off. And you know, he didn't understand it, and eventually he just accepted it. You know, he doesn't know the reason why, but he was just like, okay, like if it has nudity in it, she's not going to watch it. I'm not going to force her to watch like new movies, because if it's a new movie, he doesn't know and I don't know. So it's even more like I I'm waiting to see if something like that is going to pop up. So I'm not fully focused on the movie. I'm anxious, because if that comes up, how is my body going to react to it? How is my brain going to, send things throughout my body that's going to be like, this is uncomfortable. We don't like this. Um, and so that's my trigger. And the boundary I set for it with my partner is I'm not going to watch like new shows. Like if there's a movie that you want to watch with me and you've already watched it and you feel it is watered down for me to watch, then great, I'll watch it. But for a long time he didn't understand it, and it was frustrating because he loves watching movies. Like that's his thing. Loves watching movies. Me, I watch the same movies on repeat, and that is the reason why. I'll watch a new movie by myself. But even that, like I'm not big into movies. I have the ones that I grew up watching, and some like newer ones that I like. None of them have like sex scenes or anything like that in them. They're all what I call G-rated. Um, but it's my responsibility. I have other triggers or things that make me uncomfortable, because I feel like the word trigger just gets thrown around so much these days. But things that make me uncomfortable, there are quite a bit. But that is like the biggest one for me, where I had to be like, I can't do this because it physically makes me uncomfortable, and it physically makes me want to disappear or like just melt into the couch because I am so uncomfortable with it. And so the girl was saying, like, if someone says to you, like, I don't give a F about, I'm going to try not to swear. If someone's like, I don't give a F about your triggers, like, get over it, then that person doesn't really give a shit, and you can kind of distance yourself from them. So if it's someone that you're dating and they're like, yeah, I don't care. Like, if I was dating someone, they were like, yeah, I don't care. I've gone through it before, and it was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to hang with you. Like, if you can't respect something that is inside me that I can't fully control, you can't respect that, then I don't want to be with you. And so it was just super interesting, because I've gone through that, where not everyone understands triggers, and me saying like everyone is so sensitive these days, it could sound like I'm like shitting on people for being sensitive, but what I mean is the Demi Lovato situation. Like, she went in there and flipped out and went on Twitter and like dragged this company, except everyone on Twitter dragged her, because it was like, you're really going to try and take down this ice cream shop because they sell cookies? Don't go into the ice cream shop now that you know that they sell cookies. Like, common sense. And how dare you think like the world is going to revolve around you and your eating disorder? That's not how life works. Wish it did. Wish there was a way that no one had to feel triggers, no one had to be triggered, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's something that makes me uncomfortable. And, I'm at a point with, like I said, with my boyfriend where he's just, excuse me, he's just kind of given up on that. Like, if he thinks I'll like something and he's like either previewed it or watched it, then he'll be like, hey, like, let's watch this. But, yeah, I just found the whole conversation, like the way she said it, it's your trigger. It's up to you to set the boundary and to know how to handle when you're triggered. And that couldn't be more true. It's just one of those things where I don't know. And the word just gets thrown around so much too, which is like, it almost like desensitizes it in a way, because then nowadays when you say it so much, everyone's just like, oh, okay, another person like triggered. But it is a real thing. And for me, it's like a physical extreme discomfort. Like I can't even explain it. Like the ears getting hot is like the first step of it. And it's like my literally they burn, they turn like purple. It's like the weirdest reaction, but it's an honest reaction because I went through something where um it was just the most uncomfortable situation I think I've ever been in my life. And that person didn't care how it was affecting me, how it made me feel. And, shortly after that, that situation was done with, but it was like it was horrible. And so I have my reasons, and um they're not something that I really wish to share, but I appreciate that it's respected. Um and it sounds like such like a dumb thing when I say it to people, but it's like there's a good story behind it. I went through it, got through it, and now we're just here, and I know what I want to watch, what I don't want to watch, and I'm old enough and comfortable enough to say not going to do it. Is what it is. Watch a movie by yourself. I don't care. You're more than welcome to. Um, so yeah, but luckily we've come to a point where he gets it. He doesn't get it, but he gets it. Um, so yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I was talking. So I tried to make a short, like a real thing on YouTube, and it didn't work. I think because my video was so long, I had to like cut a piece of it, but it wouldn't let me like upload that piece. I don't know what I did. So I'll attempt it again. But I was talking about when you're a teenager and you kind of go through that phase where you just not everyone goes through it. I think um you're either going to be one of those people or not one of those people that have the anxiety that backs it up. But, you either want to stand out in a crowd or you want to blend in with the background. And I was talking about how, I wish I knew then what I know now. And you hear adults say that all the time. And as a kid, you're like, oh, okay. Like, you don't know what it's like. And it's like, I do know what it's like. And I wish back then I knew that the people I went to school with that bullied me and laughed behind my back and just like did not nice things to me, I wish I knew that they didn't matter in my world once I left high school. Like, I wish I knew they would be nothing in my world. And it's always a great feeling. One time I went to McDonald's at the drive-thru, and one of the girls that was a piece of shit to me, she was working the window, and she was like, oh my God, how are you? And I was like, great, like F you type thing. Um, so, I was kind of explaining it and talking about how my son is very much like me. My oldest son, my younger son, he is very much like his dad. He doesn't give a shit what people think. He's gonna wear what he wears. He doesn't care if like it's stylish. He doesn't care if he match it. He's just who he is. He will walk up to any group and just start talking. Like, he is so opposite of me. It's unbelievable. And then my older son, my 15-year-old, he is me all the way. And it, jogged my memory about when I was in high school. See, I hate telling these stories, but I think it's just, it kind of drives it home a little bit better, that people don't matter. Like, the people you're in school with, when you get into the real world, you decide who you take into the real world with you. I took 3 people, and that was it that I went to school with. So I remember after it was like 11th grade, and after my boyfriend Chad died in a car accident, I was out of school for like a month, and then I went back. But while I was out of school, I went back and then I dropped out again because nothing mattered at that point. I was like, F school, doesn't matter. Like, I just lost like the love of my life, like brutal, heartbreaking. That was my first boyfriend. So it was like, oh my God, it was horrible. But I remember being at Walmart, and I'm pretty sure this was like the first time I ever went into a Walmart. I don't remember ever being in it prior to. So I went into the Dartmouth Walmart, and there was this girl, Maylin. Never forget this bitch. She was like the skank of the school, but she was like popular for kind of that reason, but she thought her shit didn't stink. And we were in classes together, and like, we would say hi and stuff like that, but like I couldn't stand her for whatever reason. I went over to her, saw her in Walmart, and I was like, "Hey, Maylin, how are you?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm good." And I was like, "Oh, like, how have classes been? I haven't been in." And she's like, "Yeah, I heard." I was like, "Okay, well, nice seeing you." And like, she was such a bitch about it. I didn't even say anything about like Chad dying. She was just like, "Yeah, I heard." I was like, "All right then." So people like her don't matter. And I didn't realize that then. I remember going home and just like bawling my eyes out, as if I didn't already feel lonely enough in, going through that situation. And my mom was an active addict at the time. And I didn't have anyone that even understood what it felt like. Like my few friends, they tried being there. It was like, "Oh, we're going to a party tonight. Come to the party, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, yeah, I can drink and mask it for only so long, because then the next day when I'm sober, I had to feel it all. And it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It was uh, one of three of the worst nights of my life, basically. But anyway, uh, I just, I just think it's important, if there are younger kids watching this, even though my videos aren't for kids, it's important to know that you decide who you want in your life. And high school is only a small blip. High school, junior high, elementary, they're small blips in the bigger portion of your life. So I say to my son, if you want to blend in with the background, just have your few friends, that's fine. That's what I did. It was just a natural reaction for me to not want to be center of attention, not want to have like a shit ton of friends. I was very much introverted into myself, and I had my close friends that understood me, that I could be who I was around them. And the people at school were just people at school. Were they shitty to me sometimes? Yeah, I got through it. Probably not in the best ways. I didn't really know coping skills back then. So, yeah. But any hoozle, I am going to head out. I have to go drop off paperwork at my doctor's office, so they can fax it over to my work. But I hope you all have a grandiose day. I'll probably do a school pickup. I don't know. Let's see if I can think of something to talk about. If not, I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.